Hello, everyone. We are back for a very fascinating discussion today with one of my dear friends, Jamie Soleil from Canada. Now, for those of you that don't know Jamie, I'm going to ask Jamie to introduce herself in a
Oh,
minute.
oh
But
no.
what a fascinating story from Olympic gold medalist in pairs figure skating to one of the conspiracy theorists that are leading the way in Canada with your fantastic Canadians for Truth work. So,
Oh,
Jamie, it's so brilliant to have you back on my show again. How are
thank
you doing, first
you.
and foremost?
I have my days. Like I think we've talked about over the last year and a half that we've known each other. It's some days I'm thriving and other days it's like this is kind of a curse.
Yeah.
But what I constantly do, Catherine, is I have incredible people in my life that I'm so grateful for. So I'm focused on that and in elevating them. We are all talking about raising our vibration all the time and really just, again, just focused on looking for the gifts in this. And it really is about the people for me and the connections that we've made and reminding myself, actually, and I want to mention to you, Catherine, it is our 2 year anniversary of the trucker convoy. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So this has brought up a lot of great excitement and a lot of Canadians that were following it and supporting it, and we're grateful for it. We literally got a boost, a really big boost lately. And, they also, um, a judge here in Canada has ruled the Emergencies Act that Justin Castro put on Canada or put on the trucker convoy. They said that it is now considered illegal and unconstitutional. So this was a huge win for all of us freedom people or truth seekers, whatever you want to call all of us that were following this and supporting it and know that we're at war. So yeah, we've had some wins, but in general, I'm doing okay. Um, I had an incredible interview with you. So I encourage all of the listeners right now. I know you're following Catherine, but like I just really appreciate all of your work that you're doing and the products that you have introduced all of us to. I know we're going to talk about health today and wellness, and I'm so grateful because I'm kind of like struggling with some health issues right now, and I know it's because of stress
Yeah.
and actually I think a lot of it is stress. So I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you so much. And Jamie and I have been on this journey for quite a long while together, like all our listeners are. And Jamie and her team run the amazing Canadians for Truth. And now today, Jamie, we're going to have a really raw discussion, but YouTube friendly, on really what happens when you go down that rabbit hole and how do we balance the awakening process without losing ourselves and falling into the agenda of going into the fear vibration. And it's such a delicate subject, but I think it needs to be talked about openly because we've been on this journey for a long while, as have all our listeners. And it's a roller coaster, and there's dangers that we can be pulled into the dark agenda through the low vibration stuff of what we're discussing. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, tell everyone about Canadians for Truth
Oh yes, thank you.
for that, because that's really important.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, so I'm a part of an awesome team here in Canada called Canadians for Truth. And I work with Joseph Bourgault is the founder of Canadians for Truth. And Theo Fleury is a former NHL Stanley Cup champion as well as Olympic champion. And so Joseph and Theo reached out to me about a year and a half ago. Well, it'll almost be 2 years now, and said, would you like to be a part of our team? And I said, absolutely, because I had just started speaking out and I didn't know where this was going. I didn't know what to do. And all I was doing was praying every day, please show me the way through this. And those two showed up to offer me this position. And so what we are doing is basically just creating a site and a platform and even a community for like-minded people. We have events once a month in Canada, mostly in Alberta, and actually more specifically in Calgary, Alberta. And then we also do our own shows or monologues on our website. And you can check it out on CnE&x.ca. We have lots of great content there, really great events. Become a member, you can get our newsletter. But yeah, thank you for allowing me to talk about that. It's been a really special journey for me. I feel like it's, we both had platforms. Theo and I both had, as Olympic and just athletes in Canada, we had a platform. And so I just felt very guided, if you will, to use that to share truth to the best of my ability, right? You know, we're not going to be perfect at this. And I, through Canadians for Truth, I've met just some really, really awesome people. But even before then, when we were just even getting started, Catherine, that was when I was reaching out to people like you. I was following you, and Bryce
Yep.
and other people that we were all talking about. And I was just like, you were part of my awakening and helping me navigate, because I was incredibly emotionally unwell, but also physically. Like, I felt sick a lot of days. And
Yeah.
I've talked about this with you before. I felt sick. And then, you know, being on, sorry, not being on, but listening to you and others talk really helped me, right? Like, it's people like you that help those that were waking up feel that we weren't alone and that we weren't crazy. And to know that, I mean, because you're way across the pond, you're not exactly I mean, we're neighbors, but we're not, you know what I mean? And to
Absolutely.
see that people around the world were seeing this, it wasn't just me. And anyway, so for that, I am also incredibly grateful. And yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun with what I'm doing, and I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to talk about it.
I love it, because there's the Canadians for Truth. If anyone hasn't joined or subscribed, please do, because it's uncensored. So I had such fun. Actually, it was such a relief to go on a platform where it's not censored. But one of the things you bring out such an important point. So we all got into this role, a lot of us, not intentionally, just because we felt a drive that we needed to do something. And it's been for lots of people on this journey, and there's so many of us around the world now. It's such a stage. So you start having your eyes opened at different levels and different speeds to all the different things, you know, without getting banned off the platform. You know, we've got the air, the water, the food, the education, the pharmaceuticals, the financial system. We all know the political system has been corrupt for years, but forever. But there's everything starts, you just like, it's one thing after another after another. And a lot of people, a lot of us have gone through this journey together, and we've been like, my goodness, everything is overwhelming about what can I do? And at the same time, we're on our spiritual journeys where we understand that if you're in a fear vibration, it's a very low vibrational state, and you're going to attract more of that back to you.
Mhm.
So what a journey we're all on, and trying to balance it. What are some of the things that you've learned along this journey about how to balance the awareness without falling into the trap of being stuck in that fear vibration?
That's a good question, because I do still connect with people that are like-minded, awake, but they are more black-pilled, as we would say, Catherine, where they believe that you know, the good guys. I truly believe there are good people that are working really hard and have been for a long time to take down the biggest parts of this, the
Yeah,
cabal. And am I allowed to say that? Sorry.
I think so. We can get away with saying it occasionally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but I also believe that we have a social responsibility as well in our own cities and our provinces, our countries, our states, whatever, wherever you're living, to speak out and to do your part. I do believe that we have to rise up 100%. So I don't feel that we're going into a really bad time. I think it's not comfortable. I think what is being shown to us is the corruption and everything. I think this had to happen. I think that we have to go through the nightmare, as I would call it. Like, when we have nightmares, we wake up. And I
Yes.
think that's what we are all having to face, unfortunately. But and yet at the same time, it is a blessing. So what I remind myself of is that we get to decide. We are manifestors. We get to decide collectively how we want this to look or be, or ultimately what comes out of this. Right? If we all thought that this was like, you know, we're getting taken over, and the good guys are just like the bad guys, and you know, we're in big trouble because it's just going to be another control system, then that will be our reality. That's what I
Absolutely.
believe. So what I do is I visualize. I'm a visualizer. This is how this happened. Behind me, I saw myself winning. And so what I do every day is I see everybody around me, our world, our country, our, you know, where I live, everybody thriving and being free. And of course, through prayer. But I also just truly believe, Catherine, that it is important to do things daily because we are, you know, under, especially right now, I don't know what it's like where you're living, but people here know there's a lot wrong. Like they don't necessarily know what it is, but there's tension everywhere. Like people are angry, and there's just like there's this feeling in the air. And, you know, there's a lot of things that are going on. Like, I know for me, I'm forgetting to, you know, get on Zoom calls, and I'm, you know, backing into my neighbor's car. Like, I'm just like frazzled some days, but it's really important to take the time in your day to do your meditations, to calm the nervous system, to raise your vibration. Like I said to all my friends, keep dancing in your house, keep singing in your car, in your shower. Like, you got to keep that up. You know, I know there's days where we just feel like we're so tired, we're so done, everybody is exhausted. But we are at war. It's a psychological war. So, you know, yes, we're not seeing bombs outside our windows and whatnot, but this is really, really draining. And so what do you do when you're feeling this, right? You call Catherine or email Catherine and get on some great supplements. And I'm not kidding you, those are amazing. But also, you've got to get grounded. You know what I mean? If you don't have the grass, you don't have grass where you live. We're in winter here, so I have my grounding sheet underneath my feet right now. It's a copper plate. I have grounding bed sheets. You do what you can. You go for nature walks, hug trees, like do whatever you can. Meditate, pray, sing and dance, like whatever it is. But fear is where they want us. That is a low vibration. And we are moving into 5D, as we've talked about, Catherine, which is Christ consciousness, right? That's love. Do loving things, be around loving people. I have literally, my circle went from, I lost a lot of people in my life, which was a blessing in a way. Like some days I feel kind of like, I still can't believe this happened. And then there's other days where I go, God actually has aligned me now with my tribe to finish this, like to go to the end. If these people want to come along one day, great. But otherwise, this is my tribe, right? These are incredible warriors that we're all going to war together with.
I love
right?
it. You've raised a really important thing there that I think every single person watching will resonate, which is having to let go of what no longer serves you. And it's any change process, you know, it's almost like going through the grief cycle where you go through the different stages. And a lot of us have either had to let go of people, or more likely they've let go of us in this process. But there's something that keeps us going, which most people, you have been an Olympic champion, so you understand purpose. How important is knowing the purpose that you're on to keeping you sane in this journey?
Oh, well, you're a mom. I'm a mom. This is my purpose.
Yeah.
Simple. I am fighting because I'm a mama bear. And I know what this agenda is all about. I know they're coming after our kids. I mean, it's not just with the things in the arms. It is also changing and the gender ideology stuff and the things that they're being taught in school, basically so that these children are confused and one day they don't have their own children. We know what this is, right? So I'm fighting for my children. I'm also fighting for my country, but I'm an empath. I want this planet to be in a better place. I want everyone to love and appreciate where they are and feel that love again, because we've gotten so disconnected. We've been divided from every aspect of the world or of life, every aspect, right? So we really need to, and that's not easy. I say that we need to unite. And I know that that is a very vague kind of, you know, description of what I feel needs to happen, but it will happen. It's happening already. People are waking up more and more. Not fast enough for me, but this is in God's time, right? And when I refer to God, I just want to clarify that for me, it is not about religion. It is about having a relationship with our Creator. And so however that looks for anybody listening or people out there, I don't judge. But for me, what I found is in my awakening, there was such a presence. I never wanted to use the word God when I was life coaching because people would get offended. So I didn't. And I was fine with that. But then my awakening literally brought me to prayer and actually really, and then I started getting answers. So Catherine, it was so powerful. Like I remember asking, please show me the way through, show me the way through this, because I was so scared speaking out. I was getting absolutely annihilated. Like, Jamie, you're an embarrassment to Canada. I can't believe that you represented us. You should just leave this country. You should have all your medals taken away. You should have your children taken away. I've had death threats, like you name it, right? Like it's just it's crazy what we have all gone through, and I just think that it's so important to really remember what we are doing this for. And for me, I'm a mom.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even like, I don't feel like I even need to elaborate more than that. I'm a mom.
Completely. There's been so much realization here. And one of the things that I find really interesting, you touched on it there, about the absolute level of abuse. And I really want your opinion on this, Jamie, because we've reached a stage in society where online abuse is completely normalized. And, you know, I have it the whole time on my Instagram and things. It's like, oh, if you're putting yourself out there, you're asking for it. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to help. You know, it's a choice. You can choose to leave, like the TV, switch off. You
Yes.
know, you're making a choice to be on my page. You know, you don't need to stay there. No one's forcing you. But it's a very serious point that when, you know, people like David Icke have said it for years, and he's been ridiculed and hauled through the most awful, absolute bullying from every single corner, banned from most countries on the globe. But actually, when you do understand the end point, like I love the way Wayne Dyer says it, you know, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. But the level of most adults not being able to have a respectful debate and not being able to be kind and respectful to people, even if you have a different opinion. I don't know about you, Jamie, but it didn't used to be like this. It's got so much worse over the last 30 or so years, and people justify it as normal. So my question to you is, how much, based on what you know now and the journey you've been through, we love to blame the black hats, the cabal, whatever you want to call it, the Illuminati. I won't say any more trigger words because we're on YouTube. We love to blame these people, but how much do you think each and individual has played into this by our behaviors?
Oh, so first of all, this was all by design to us. I said, you know, 5 minutes ago, dividing us. So once we're all divided, it's not very difficult to have us fight, right? And argue and attack each other. That's what this was all this, their whole agenda was created for. If we have them divided, then we win, right? So that's why it's important to put our egos aside, and ego is edging God out, right? And literally just, and I know that's easy to say because there's still a lot of people that are asleep, but it's so important. And that this is what people have to really understand when they are waking up, is that there is this kind of evil in this world. Like I had a hard time believing it myself. I remember that was the first thing everyone said to me, Jamie, there can't be this kind of evil in the world, right? But there is. And I think it's all being exposed and being shown right now for all of us to see, but also to come together to heal. And I also think that we, as a collective, we have to take social responsibility for our part in this. It's not that you actually decided that you, you know, wanted your kid to be groomed at school. Like yes, you did not ask for this, but over the generations. So I'm a big believer, Catherine, or a person that is not into blaming. We can sit here and say that my grandparents and great grandparents, you know, wherever this started, you know, they signed this, they elected this government, or they did this, and we can sit here and blame. But here we are today in this generation of our time to go, we have a responsibility now. What is your part in this, right? Maybe your part is that you've never voted. I don't even know if voting really mattered anyway, because it seems like all elections are rigged. But I'm just saying as an example.
Evil. What's the one with in James Bond where you sort of
I start
voting?
right. It's true. And
Yeah.
but I'm just giving an example of like
No,
where
I completely
have
agree with you, because you equally can't fall into the trap of then saying I'm not going to vote because of that.
Right.
You just need to prove that your vote was that and ask for proof that yours has been counted.
We literally have a very low rate of voters in Canada. It's very low. And I don't have the number right now, but it's quite low. Right. So there's an example. How involved have we been in our children's education or indoctrination? How involved are we in like with our MPs? How involved have we been with the banking stuff? Like diving, we haven't really paid attention. And again, I'm not blaming the bad guys for this, but they did a really good job with things like mind control and indoctrinating. And sorry, my dogs are excited now because they know what we're talking about. But I think you're getting where I'm going with this. It's been by design. So yes, there's that part of it, but we all had a part in it too. And so you ask yourself, what's my part in this, and how can I be better going through all this? My door is shut even, Catherine. I'm so sorry. It's like
That's
my
all
door
right.
is how loud it is.
Don't worry, it's fine. And I think this is what I'm doing. There's a big difference between blame and self-responsibility, because the whole point is if we are on any sort of spiritual journey and you've got any sort of belief that we create our own reality, that energy really exists and you attract into what matches your vibration.
100%.
And it's really hard to order it as that. There are certain universal laws that, unfortunately, the negative side have chosen to study and understand really, really well.
Yeah.
And we haven't, because we've been distracted by life, whatever that looks like for us. And it's easy to get distracted by life.
Yeah. And Catherine, I want to add to that. Like they have created a society through systemic abuse, government abuse, and all the layers that people can't even necessarily think critically. Like we are poisoned, as you talked about in the beginning, in the air, in the water, in our food, everywhere. So it's like our pineal glands are crystallized, our insides are, failing and struggling. And so we're not like functioning the way that we are meant to function here. So it's only natural that you've got, through the abuse, you've got major trauma, which causes like addiction. Like it is off the charts here, obviously through the last 4 years, but it's been really not great for decades.
Absolutely, same here. And you can see why, because the level of stress that most people are dealing with, and
We're
everyone,
enslaved.
I mean, I've said it before, I will put my hand up, because, when you know better, you do better. So I've said before, I got really, really triggered at the start of this, where, back in 2020, I was like, everyone's saying we're living through the most stressful times ever. If I was sending my son off to be in the trenches in the First World War, trust me, I would find that more stressful than what we're going through now. But the thing is, stress, grief, trauma, it's not a competition. The fact is, it affects all of us, and it affects us at a collective level as well, energetically. And I see it a lot in the work that I do with the animals. But the whole point I find, and I'd be really interested what you think. I think in the truther community, I think we need to stop spending the time looking to blame the dark cats, the cabal, the Illuminati, and start thinking, okay, once is that the time then to stop giving it energy and putting your energy into changing the world as you want it to be?
I totally agree with you. I haven't really focused on the black cats, as we call them, whatever, for a long time now. I mean, I'm literally, what we do here is, especially with Canadians for Truth, is we're constantly talking about solutions and how to make Canada, not bring back Canada, because I don't want old Canada, how to make it greater, right? And so that's what we're doing at events, whether it's protests or it's weekly or bi-weekly meetings that are being held here locally. It's having a Zoom call with small groups of women that I'm a part of on Sundays that just want support, but we're solution based. We're done allowing those like talking, giving them energy. I mean, I think it's part of your awakening, because you're trying to figure it all out. It's normal that you want to talk about it, but yeah, they don't deserve any of our thoughts or energy at all. They are done. And it's game over. they're scrambling, whatever, however you want to see this, but it's game over. And so now what I tell people and what we talk about here is, what do we want to see? What do we want to have? How do we want to be? How do we want to behave? Right.
Yeah.
And speak. And remember, our words can be spells, right? So be impeccable with your word. We talked about the 4 agreements a long time ago, and it's always applicable today, is be impeccable with your word, right? Like, even Catherine, it's gotten to the point now where even when someone in my family isn't feeling well, I've taught them not to say like I am and then
Yeah.
use the word, right? So it's like, I'm, however they want to say it, but it's, you're not supposed to say, and we all catch ourselves going, I am, but
Yeah.
it's, yeah, like change your wording. And it's wild, but I think it's really important. And I want to go back to even surrounding yourself with people. So where I was going with that is, yes, I lost all these other people at the beginning of my awakening, but I've also had to really narrow my circle down now. Like, and it's not because the like-minded people aren't good people. It's just, I'm finding that there's some people that are even like-minded. And I think that everyone listening right now can relate to this too. It's like, none of us are perfect, but it's just that everyone seems to have a little bit of a different, whether it's the view, or like I said, there's some black pilled, and then there's some that are going through their own emotional, spiritual healing. And so they're not quite, at the same maybe vibration or alignment as you, whatever it may be. But I've just found, like, and I have no shame in this, Catherine. I don't even apologize for letting go of relationships right now. It is, I need to be around who I need to be around. It is my protection bubble. It is my boundary. And it is because I am giving so much energy, number one, to my children, my new life, as you know, an incredible man that I have in my life with 2 more children, and also the community that we're welcoming regularly, that are supporting this and supporting us and continue to do great work. And so that's where my focus is. And so it's okay to say, these people were good people, but I just don't have time. And just say, you don't even have to lie about it. I remember before I used to feel so bad. I'd make up lies, like little fibs, hey, sorry, something came up. Now I just go, hey, I'm tired today. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to reschedule. I don't.
Yeah. Okay, it's honesty. Going back, so for those people that don't know, I will put the link below. Jamie and I did a series quite a long while ago about going through the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, because they are so relevant. And this is the thing, getting back to the spiritual teachings, if we want to recreate the world, we've got access to the same tools that the nefarious people have. We just need to put the effort in and learn how to work with the universal laws a little bit better, and it really does work. And it's so interesting what you're saying about the people in your life, because back in 2020, I found it quite difficult, because I still think there's ways of doing things. When people are blaming you for all their problems because you're saying something that doesn't disagree, it's like, even if the fact that's a projection, it's still a little bit hard to take. But actually now, this is why they say hindsight's such a wonderful thing. I'm so grateful, because all of us have to make space and have to keep ourselves in an environment that we're in a vibrational match. And when we talk about vibrational match, it's not a judgment thing. It's not that one's better than another. And it's not a steady climb. Most of us are going like this a lot of the time.
Yes.
We hope that the overall trajectory is in a higher vibrational match. So please don't think it's people saying they're better than others. It's not that at all. It's just being honest, but also not projecting your frustrations on people that are in a different place to you. So I think it's really great that so many of us now are sort of coming out the other side and putting so much attention into solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You've covered some of it in terms of what your real focuses are, but if I could say, with yourself personally and with Canadians for Truth, what is your real focus for 2024?
Well, as a team, we are still focused on booking events. We have one, a guest come into our studio, or our theater, sorry, and we we have people that come, we sell tickets to that, but also just putting up more content on the website, right? Like interviewing more and more people. And Catherine, like you're one of the people out there that I know that have done just a superb job getting as many different kinds of people on with you. I follow you obviously on your social media pages too. And it's just, you know, I applaud you because I feel that it actually inspired me as well, because for a while, you know, my interviews were basically COVID related or, you know, all that stuff that we've been dealing with for the last 3 years. And then I started having on like a meditation teacher. And then I started talking about, you know, vitamins, and had you on and talking about different supplements that people don't necessarily know about. I've had grounding people on, just health and wellness even. And then, you know what? The only real area that I don't love to go into, and it's just because it's so corrupt and everything is corrupt, but it's politics. So I don't interview like a specific politicians per se, but I have had certain politicians on. One big one was Christine Anderson, right, from the EU. So that was a pretty big interview for me, but it's mostly focused on healing, Catherine, that's what we're talking about today. And I think that that is what, like, you are doing it. And a lot of other people, I'm also finding that I'm wanting to follow more people that are guided to do more healing, putting out more healing advice or content, having discussions around it, because everybody's healing process is different. And I found even with me, Catherine, I went into the spiritual healing first. Mm-hmm. That was what I first was struggling with. So then that was when, you know, creating that relationship with God was important for me. But then after that, and that took a year, and I'm still working on it. And then I went into the physical healing because now I'm realizing I've got gut issues. You know, I had some blood work done, for example, and I'm fine being transparent here because I'm a very, you know, strict with my diet still. I exercise. I'm an Olympic athlete, or was 20 years ago, but I still have that mindset, right, of good health and sleep and everything and hydration, and don't take any drugs and whatever. Do like some wine sometimes. Catherine and I like our wine.
Yeah, we do.
But I don't abuse it.
No.
Anyway, yeah, and so I'm like low in iron, and I love our Barbara that we follow, because, you know, I always thought
Meal is just an absolute, oh, she's adorable.
Yeah. And because she was explaining that she was anemic for 13 years, and it was because she had low stomach acid. So those of us listening right now, how many times have we been told it's because, you know, it's because we don't eat meat? And I'm like, well, even if when I ate meat, I had anemia at times. So that's not why. It's low, for me, it's low stomach acid. For her, it was as well. But I'm also like my thyroid struggling. I think there's still some healing to do around leaky gut. There's just lots. I mean, it's hard to avoid it. We're poisoned, and I'm like buying mostly organic, and I've been taking great supplements. But I want to talk, Catherine, about the things that I am doing personally. Yeah. So I talk about raising your vibration. So I know we're not supposed to have our phones near us and everything, but I do like to listen at night to fall asleep too. And it's way away from me. And I have my, I just want to show you, I got my photonic shield that you encouraged me to get. Yep. So I've got that, and it's like 15 feet away from my head, but I play vibrational music pretty much every night. But I also found locally that there was this harmonic egg. They're literally shaped like an egg, and you go in and you make an intention when you go in, and you lay in a zero gravity chair, and they pick a color for you based on your intention. And so it's sound, frequency, and vibration.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know if you have it where you are, but
I'm going to look it up. I haven't tried it. I'm going to look it up.
Harmonic egg. It is amazing. And I feel really drawn to that. So there's certain times in my healing where I'm drawn to certain things. I even worked with like a medium at one point, because the medium that I know was just so powerful. She really, really helped me. She's actually part of saving my life through this, because I was in such a hole. Then I went into an osteopath. Then I went to cranial sacral treatments. Yeah, I've tried everything, like, and I love them all.
Yeah.
My recent one is the harmonic egg and grounding. That is what I'm doing right now that I feel is like the most important, because we are so not grounded, especially here in the winter.
Yeah. I must say, I love all of those. And one of the things I'm really, really drawn to at the moment is the sort of homesteading and returning back to what we would call an old-fashioned, more natural way of life. And it doesn't mean you can't use the mod cons, but having gone through the stage of, fallen for the agenda of being a working mum and, needing both salaries to just pay the bills, and I was, touch wood, very lucky with my children that I didn't have major issues, and luckily they just got out of the education system just in time, I would say. Having said that, I did not pay enough attention, because there's something in human nature where, unfortunately, we've seen this in disease for a long time. Until something goes really wrong in most people's lives, they don't normally course correct and take different action. So this happens to all of us, and we can all look back in hindsight, and sometimes we have lucky breaks and we get away with it, and sometimes we don't. But I'm really, really loving the fact that a lot of the people who are drawn much more to creating their own food, like we're, getting a food forest done for our garden so we can be much more self-sufficient, because I've got a lot of animals to feed. And really connecting back in nature, because if we all got out and did our own vegetables and gardens and turned our lawns, which were a complete, the lawns only came into a being for the gentry, for the aristocracy, to show off that they didn't need to use all their land to grow food. So all of these agendas, once you become aware of it, it can be a really positive thing, because suddenly it's like, okay, let's all turn our gardens back into food producing. And suddenly things like this. And what I'm loving, Jamie, is that so many of the younger generations are doing it first. So my children joke to me, and they're just like, it's your age, Mum. You're so excited about getting a greenhouse, which is true. But equally, the younger people are actually leading the way with this, because they're just getting on and doing it. So I've got such hope, because one of the things I've seen with the discussions is all the discussions have been concentrated on humanity, and we've separated ourselves from the rest of nature. And I'm not talking about global warming. I'm talking about the connection with having a respectful relationship with all creatures, great and small, all the land, all the plants on the land. And I really see that coming back big time. And that gives me so much hope, because when we stop interfering, nature and our bodies recover so quickly.
Oh, I look forward to not being poisoned, that's for sure. And I mean, like I said, I'm doing the best that I can. I mean, we got that filter that you have on your website too. I'm looking forward to connecting that to my house, but we drink different water than tap water.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways that I've tried to work around the knowledge, at least, that I have around poisoning, but it's not easy. I mean, I still like to go out to eat, and going outside, we're still getting sprayed here in the skies.
Oh, so are we. I took some pictures this morning, and I live in the middle of the countryside.
Yeah.
And we're really lucky. We don't have farmers using chemicals near here. Most of them, but the skies,
I know.
this morning, it was an absolute joke. But I've got to a stage now where I don't worry about it. I just take a few more. I know.
You know what I do? I tell myself that it's like hydroxychloroquine. They're spraying good stuff up there now to clean the air and to clean the planet. Like, that's what I tell myself. Right? I mean,
exactly. There's no stressing over what we can't change, is there? There's no point. Talking about it, I think, is really important. I love the stuff that people are really bringing it to our attention, and I think everyone's got a role in this. I think each of us have got roles. We do need those people that are shouting the banner about, like Geoengineering Watch and Dane Wigington. I've spoken to him a few times. He's incredible, but it's such a stressful job he's doing. But without him, none of us know about all this.
Yeah.
So, thank goodness for these saviors that are doing it, but we do need other people to balance that energy out.
Totally. And I have to say, Catherine, like, as you know, because you follow me I lost my Instagram account, by the way, 3 days ago.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's down anyway. I don't know if I'll get it back, but whatever. I'll just start another one. But as you know, I still post things that are going on, like truths.
Exactly.
And they're not pleasant all the time. But do I focus on that? No, I see that and I go, okay, you know what? We still have to create awareness. But then right? Like it's not, you can still do that without putting all your energy into like sitting on your phone all day and watching only that kind of stuff, and just being like mortified and allowing yourself to feel like scared or whatever it is emotion that you're feeling when you watch this stuff. And so I don't do that. But you know, I do feel, and I mean, it is a question for you too. Like I do feel that there's seasons, and I feel like in that, you know, like you started off this way, right? And then you kind of get divinely guided over here. And then you do your work here, and then you get divinely guided to go over here. And I just feel like we're kind of on this like interesting journey. Like we're sort of not pivoting, but it's like, I don't know. It's just really cool organically happening where everything just sort of like I get told, I get this like downloads of like, okay, go more, you know, even on certain posts, I'll get like a
Yes.
download that, and it'll be, you know, post something really positive today or post something funny. Like I
Yeah.
get that because I'm really listening. I'm dialed in to not only during prayer, but even just like in my quiet moments through meditation or just like sitting still, having my coffee in the morning. And, you know, that's the beautiful part of healing and working on yourself, right? And healing is that, you know, when we get quiet, we get answers, we get guided. It's been so incredible for me. There's been a lot of really neat things that have shown up, and maybe they were always there, but because my eyes are more open and my ears are, you know, listening more. But
I
it's
love
just,
that you said that because I think it's such an important thing. I mean, my approach is like we need to know what the challenges are, otherwise we don't know what solutions to look for. So you know enough about the challenges to then know where you need to focus your
yeah,
energy solution wise. And I'm, you know, so many people are saying I find it so exciting personally that everything we know has been lied for and everything's up for grabs, because you know I used to get 100% in history at school because I can memorize anything, but I never believed a word of it. Once I'd done the exams I forgot it all because I was like, this is all just made up. I know if I was in a different country I'd be. Geography is exactly the same. I mean, look at how many arguments are going on now about where was Egypt. The only thing we can probably guarantee is not where they told us it was.
yeah,
So for me, because I really love the learning, I'm like, this is really great because a lot of it didn't make sense. So the opportunity now
right.
we can co-create, you know, you've only got to look at the Mandela effect, where
Mhm.
you can change a lot of, if you read Joe Dispenza's book, You Are the Placebo, or I think it's
Yeah, I have that
Break
one.
the Habit of Being You. I can't remember which one it's in, but they've done scientific tests to show that you can change the past by your thoughts in the future. Now, the whole time is an illusion one. I
Yeah,
can't pretend I understand it enough to really have
yeah,
a discussion on it, but I completely get it. And I think taking joy, remembering to have humor, taking ourselves a little bit less seriously, and remember that we are co-creating. So remember that every time you're making a decision where you put your energy, and we're
yes.
going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
Catherine, you just you now got to put that out there. You just put it out, but you got to, you know, keep talking about that, having a guest on that's going to talk about time.
Oh, I really want to. If anyone
There
knows
you
anyone,
go.
because I love this and I get the principle of it, but I haven't fully grasped it.
Yeah, me neither.
And I'm really excited to, because imagine, just imagine what
I
we can.
know. I know. It's
It's
very
just,
cool.
yeah, it is fantastic. So all these brilliant things. I mean, one of my earliest childhood memories was I knew I could levitate. It was like I'd just forgotten how. So I'm looking forward to levitating. So next time
Oh,
I'll just
and
be floating across the room.
yeah, and teleporting.
Teleporting. Well, I go all sorts of places in my dreams. I mean, I can wake up with a swollen black and blue ankle and I haven't left the bed.
No way.
So I think the problem is when you ask to travel, you're meant to leave your body there. I'm obviously taking mine, but this is the thing is, I think having a bit of fun with all these things and thinking, wow, what is
Yeah,
possible?
yeah.
It's really, really amazing. And I think also letting people be where they are on their journey is really important.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, the two realities seem to be getting farther and farther apart. And again, it's not that we're all better. It's actually to me kind of sad a little bit, because you see these people, these incredible people. We're all incredible humans, you know, God's creation, but it's like they just can't see it. But the divide in that, like the separation in realities, is just so, it's so wide. I'm seeing here, we still have people driving alone in cars with their masks on and walking outside with a mask on. Like, it's just, it feels like so 20 years ago already, you know, even though it's only been 2 or whatever.
I know.
But anyway, I just, you know, and so what I do for that, for those people, is I used to in my head shame them, like, what an idiot, like, what's wrong with you? And, you know, so now what I do is just energetically send them healing and peace, and pray for them, right? Like, just say, please wake them up.
I think I think that's so true. And you know, the thing is, most people won't change their diet unless they get a disease. Most
This is
people won't
what's so
look into
sad with
different
us.
things. And
Yeah,
sometimes, you know, there's different ways, as Joe Dispenza says, you know, you don't have to go through that, but if you have, it's still not too late. And the
right.
beauty I find is, with all the work we all know about now, and we might not be perfect at doing it ourselves, but once you know it exists, that's the challenge, you know, then you're really on a roll, is we know that things can change in the split of an eye. You know, we don't have to work for the physical biological reality. People can have spontaneous healings, the planet can have spontaneous healings. So I think the more that we all keep that in our mind and demonstrate it. And I've realized myself that, you know, when you judge others, it's only going to go one way. It's only taking you back to where you don't want.
Mirror
Yeah.
on yourself when you're looking at others, turn it around, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we just need to live more like cats. You know, cats, there's not a cat on this planet that doesn't think they're the best cat on this planet.
I love that.
So
Walk around like, yes.
yeah, if you just want to do that, stroke me, feed me, cuddle me. So in all seriousness, you know, I that's the one thing that gives me strength, is my animals aren't stressed about any of this. And they do pick up on vibration a lot. So therefore, I think that's a good sign. And if people, there's terrible things going on in other parts of the world, and I think most people watching this are empaths, so they do take on a lot of that. But actually, I'm learning the hard way that worry and pity doesn't get anywhere. It's just
Part of
bringing
the low
you
vibrations.
again.
Well,
So
part of the low.
therefore, if you can't do something about it, send it love. And the best way we can change everything is having the happiest, most creative lives ourselves.
And be the change. Like, all
Yeah,
of the listeners right now, you know, if you're like Catherine and I, where, you know, we believed in that there was this greater power that was you know, working behind the scenes, if you will. But we can't wait for them to be the change, right? We need
absolutely.
to change. And that's what I've always told my clients when I was coaching. You know, don't wait for change. You be the change. Start today. And however that is, or how little of a thing that might be, it doesn't matter. Make a decision for something. If you want better health right now, then make a decision today that you are going to start, right? And it might just be having a conversation, right? Just have the conversation. From there, then what? And you just keep taking little steps, little baby steps. I mean, that was how I got to the Olympics. I didn't just take a huge, massive step and I was there,
Yeah,
right? You make a decision for something, and then you write out your map. You're just like when we build a house, right? We have like the map of what we want our house to look like. And you do that same thing with your life. Like, what would you like for your health? What would you like
yeah,
for, you know, your family, in your relationships? And I think that, you know, this is a time of rebuilding. Like, we have an opportunity to do really incredible things with ourselves and with our families and everyone around us. And I think that, be excited about that. Get
yeah.
excited, because yeah, like, I know we're going through some rough stuff here, and it might get a little bit ugly for a little bit too, but that's okay. You know what? Because in the middle of that storm, we're all manifesting, right? So then when this external stuff is over, boom, for me, I can see it. I can see beauty. Totally, I can see it. I don't know, Catherine, I see yellow. I see a lot of yellow, and yellow's the color that shows up for me. So maybe somebody can chime in and tell me what yellow means, but I see a lot of yellow and green. There's a lot of greenery around us. So, and I'm not psychic. That's what I see when I close my eyes. I'm clairvoyant and I get green, like lush color and yellow.
Yeah. Bring back the real sun. That's another topic for the next day.
Or both. We get to learn.
Or both. And
boy, we're conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. And for anyone that grew up in the UK, that's about my age, who remembers the clangers that lived on the moon? There you go. So it's a private joke for the UK people of a certain age, but there's so many clues in everything. And so have fun with it. Continue to ask questions, people, but make sure you look after yourself and surround yourself with people. If you can't do it physically, there's so many resources online that we can do that accept you and lift you up. You do not have to agree with each other. There's a big misconception. You can accept each other without agreeing with everything. Any final words from you, Jamie? Because I know
or get an animal, right? If you can't be around people right now, go find yourself a kitty or a dog. And I mean, those are the best company. Catherine and I laugh all the time about how we love our animals more than anybody.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, our children, obviously, but
I just adore them. My children are very realistic about they feel the same. My children aren't living at home at the moment, and like they can't wait to come back and see the animals. I'm under no illusion it's perfect. I completely agree. And also there's so many animals in rescue homes that need company and everything. So if you can't actually have an animal in your life, you will change the world if you go and do something like that. I promise you, you will change the world. Oh, thank you so much for taking the time today. We're going to have you back. I will put all the links to Jamie's shows below. I can't put your Instagram link at the moment, but let me know if it comes.
That's okay. No,
you must have been banned more times than everyone. What was it for, very quickly?
I don't know. I just think I'm a target. Clearly, it was my Twitter account 8 months ago or so. They took down, they hacked in and changed my password. I can't get it back. Now my Instagram account, but you know what? We just keep fighting. And that's what my message to everybody listening right now is that just hang in there. We've gotten this far, and the key to success is not quitting. You know what? There were way more talented figure skaters in the world, way more talented than me, but they quit. I was the one that didn't quit. And we're at war right now, and I don't like that word, but we are. And so we cannot quit. But in that, not quitting, stay as positive as you can. Be around people, like Catherine said, that elevate you. Only elevate you. This is a time for that. I don't have space for people that are negative and going to bring me down. It's not okay anymore, right? So we are moving into the veil is if not down, we've pulled the veil aside, and it's time to rebuild and create a new earth that we all love and respect and appreciate. And I'm just, you know what? I send all of your listeners love, and thank you for having me on again.
Oh, it's such a joy. I hope everyone's enjoyed this as much as I have. For anyone watching, thank you so much for being on this journey with us. We appreciate each and every one of us. Let us know in the comments below. Please let us know how you're feeling, what's working for you, because if you share what's working for you, it can really, really help others. And you've all got such brilliant ideas. Have an amazing rest of the day, and we will catch up soon. Much love. Thank you.
Thank you.